Consistency, the hallmark of truth. Much love to Ross Ben for that little bit of wisdom. So I made an adjustment here in Scorpio. This line was a little too narrow, was not including the hanged man, which is a Scorpio symbol. Scorpio is very commonly known in the story of Judas of Iscariot. Judas of Iscariot, in his exit scene, he had traded the life of Christ for a bag of silver, mort gage. He had taken out a mortgage. Mort is death, AG is silver. So here we see death wearing silver, riding through a field. Judas tried to return the silver. That didn't work out. There was blood on the money. So he had to buy a burial plot. And he hung himself from a tree, or from the mountain above that plot. The rope broke and he fell down into the field, stumbled a few steps, and his entrails spilled out between his legs, very much like the symbol of Ophiuchus, which the Ophiuchus constellation is a minor decade of the Scorpio section of the night sky. So what I offer is spiritual self-defense. I have no intention whatsoever of propagating any spiritual offense or spiritual aggression. If you are offended, or if you intend to use this knowledge aggressively, please change the channel immediately. I spent my whole life teaching self-defense, and there's a reason why we call it self-defense. It's a very simple means of response. Everything about self-defense and martial arts is about responding. It's not about initiating. It is about how you react to the trials and tribulations that will come your way, inevitably. And in self-defense, we have a very simple formula, A, B, and C. A, B, and C. The first is awareness. And awareness comes with wisdom, knowing your whereabouts, 360-degree view. Awareness comes from studying, research, expanding your mind. The word where comes from the word war. War is always territorial. Where you are. It's about where to choose your battles and where to walk away. So that is the first step in self-defense, is awareness. B is boundaries, knowing the dividing lines, knowing how far to run away, knowing how far to push it in order to attain safety. These boundaries, this spectrum of behavior is crucial, especially in, oftentimes you'll be setting up your legal defense to make your position known later in court. And C is control, or combat, or choice. And combat, control, and choice is the final component of that recipe. It is knowing when you're compelled and knowing when you are volunteering, knowing that your volition is your is the bottom line. That is why signatures are required in a contract. So awareness, boundaries, choice. Those are the ABCs of self-defense, and I find them applicable to almost everything I learn in life. I want people to know the spell that binds them. And this is the greatest spell of all. This is the greatest story ever told. This is the highest story ever told. It plays out year after year, and it's sure to repeat. The word truth. The word truth comes from the word Torah, the word tower, and there are 3 T's that we should be aware of before we move into acceptance. And the first T is the enter. The second T is tain. And the third T is meant. And that is the entertainment that you agree to when you pretend, when you pay in advance, when you go into the theater and with the intention of staying until the end, until the credits roll. Theater is one of the earliest forms of paying in advance, pretending. And nowadays with your lawyer, you have to pretend. You have to pay a retainer's fee. So you're pretty much in it for the long haul. These are all terms of the agreement of many of the spells that we find ourselves ensnared in or feeling a need to resist. So this tower of the Torah, of the truth, is a Fibonacci spiral. I mentioned earlier it's a this is phyllotaxis. The spiral of the Fibonacci is mathematically used to determine the growth on a plant. And that is called phyllotaxis. Funny enough, when you file your taxes, you are giving the powers that presume to be a chance to predict growth into the upcoming year. This is also the Pi. This is Proto-Indo-European, PIE. This is the foundation of our language and our words. Much like I mentioned, the Mort gauge, the silver of death, the death silver. These are, in many, many, many ways, these truths are perpetual. I like to think of this as the writing on the wall. You know, in Daniel, a disembodied hand put a message on the wall that many of the king's men had difficulty decoding the message. And he had to call Daniel forward. And Daniel was able to tell him what the message meant. Funny thing, the king peed his pants and his knees began to tremble before he even knew what the message meant. And only after Daniel had told him about his kingdom being weighed and measured and a need to divide it between the Persians and the Medians, the corporations and the media, only then was he able to realize that it was time for a new beginning, that he was going into a fall. That's about all I got to say about that, folks. I hope you're enjoying the ride so far. I'm breaking my own heart here. I got to take apart this lovely masterpiece of art that I put a lot of time in putting together because I only got one dry erase board. So enjoy it while it lasts, right? Much love, y'all. Stay focused.